Hi, welcome to part 2 of answering your questions. Last time I answered a lot of questions that I call generic. I'm just going to start out with the statistics, which I got a little bit backwards last time. I said that it was 88%, 54% sometimes. Really what I meant is sometimes you hear 1 in 88, 1 in 54. What you're hearing is 1 out of every 88 children that's born has autism. 1 in 54 boys has autism, because it's 1 in 54 boys and 1 in 252 girls. That's how high the numbers are now. So it's much more prevalent with boys than it is girls, but those are your statistics and why the numbers are sometimes confusing. I was not good at math. I slept through that class. I slept through a lot of my classes, and I'm sorry for that, but yeah, so there's your numbers and your statistics. What cure is there? There is not one. What cause is there? We don't know. That's why there's not a cure. So, treatments we went over last time: ABA therapy, which is applied behavioral analysis, OT, which is occupational therapy, and speech therapy, all of which are very effective. Look into those. Now, as far as the more personal questions, which I'm going to try to rattle off a couple of these without going into the 10-minute mark like I did last time, those would be: has anyone ever asked me if I did something to cause my child's autism during pregnancy? Quite frankly, I don't think anybody wants to come at me with that. I'm pretty nice, but I'm probably a little intimidating, and that would just be stupid to ask someone that question. And most people have enough what my daddy would call walking around sense not to do that. Did I do something during the pregnancy? I don't know. It's possible. As I said before, neither one of us had anybody in our family diagnosed with this before. It could have been the age difference. He was 10 years older than me. I was 28 when Charlie was born, so his father was 38. Maybe it was an age factor. At 14 weeks, I fell down a flight of steps, not end over end, but bounced on my bottom down a few steps when my feet came out from under me, but the doctor said everything looked fine on an ultrasound, and I believed him, and I'm sure everything did look fine. At 26 weeks pregnant with Charlie, I was in a car accident. I was waiting to turn left at a red light or stop sign, and someone slammed into me doing 50, rear-ended me, and again, hooked up to monitors, light contractions that I couldn't feel, but they stopped on their own, and he was fine, and until he wasn't. And he looked like a normal, healthy baby, 8 pounds, 2 ounces, whopper, chubby little fella, full head hair. Just did not reach the baby milestones that he should have. He walked at 11 months. He beat his sister by 2 months on walking, but he didn't talk, and it took him forever to talk. She was speaking full sentences at 1 and memorizing songs at 2. I remember the song Kelly Pickler's Red High Heels, that song from American Idol, and she watched American Idol back then, and she was in a car seat in the back seat. Very vivid memory of this, and I heard, "Mommy, Mommy, it's Kelly Pickler," and she was doing every word of the song verbatim, and she was 2 years old, so it was wild. She was just above and make straight A's, and which I never did. So I'm pretty sure that she's not my child until she opens her mouth and I see her attitude, and then I'm pretty sure she is my child. But as far as Charlie goes, he's just never had a lot to say, but he's very sweet. As far as the next question, which is describe my best day with Charlie ever. A good day with him is he gets up happy, giggling on his own. He usually wakes up so anywhere between 5 and 7. He's sleeping later now, but he always woke up at 5 as a baby. Fell asleep on his own at 8:30, woke up at 5. Woke up happy, comes downstairs on his own, watches TV, snuggles with me, ask for what he wants, uses his words. I want, with or without a prompt. I want Pediasure, I want cookies, I want TV, I want Peppa Pig. Great day. That's a great day. A not so great day is the opposite of that. He might be sick. Knock on wood, we haven't been in the hospital in a year now, but he gets sick, he gets dehydrated almost right away. He goes downhill very fast, he refuses all liquids, and He wakes up angry on a bad day. He's crying the minute he wakes up, almost like from a nightmare, but it doesn't end. He won't come downstairs. It's like he's disoriented. I'll have to go get him. He's hitting and crying and kicking, and there's been mornings where I've had to restrain him, arms across his chest, my legs around his legs from behind, and I've had to use all of my muscle power to keep him from hurting me or himself for periods of 30 minutes or more until he relaxed and released all the tension. I'm usually worn out before he ever gets on the school bus or gets to school, and then we've got the whole day to get through, which usually includes therapy, and that's 5 days a week now. School, therapy, home, showers, bed. So, my most heartwarming memory of him, there are many. I would have to say the first conversation we ever had was, by conversation, I mean when he responds to me and it doesn't sound forced. I'll use the strip as a prompt a lot of times and say, do you want something? There's a yes and no on the back like I said before, and I'll say, do you want Pediasure? And I'll point to yes if I know that's what he wants and I'm trying to get him to say it, and sometimes I have to say yeah to get him to start, and he'll say yes, and it's very forced and it's staccato, or it doesn't sound like a normal person saying yes. One night, he was upset, he woke up, I came downstairs, I changed him, I got him a Pediasure, I took care of the obvious first, and then he handed me the remote, and I said, what do you want to do? And I've got Peppa Pig on, you should be happy, and he said, I want TV, and I said, okay, well, let's see what's on Sprout, and it was Kipper. I said, Kipper's on, Charlie, do you want to watch Kipper? And he said, yes, and I said, okay, and I put it on, and I walked upstairs, and I wasn't sure if that had worked just right or not, but he had said, I want TV, and then he said yes, and it was all very normal exchange, and a minute later I heard him laughing, and I started crying because it was the most normal exchange I'd ever had with my 7-year-old child, or maybe he was 8 at that point, but the one that really sticks out to me, and I know this is 2 stories, it's not the I love you story, it's what everybody thinks it's going to be, but really, I was surprised the most by how I felt the first time I ever heard him say hi. A 2-letter word. I mean, I knew when he said, I love you for the first time, it would really get to me, but a social behavior where you wave and say, hi. I wasn't expecting that one to attack me the way it did, but we were in ABA therapy, and he was trying to, his ABA therapist was trying to get him to imitate everything he was doing. So it was 2 hands clap and 2 hands above your head and circles out to the side. And then he got to thinking, oh, well, if he's doing all this, maybe he can do this. He said, Charlie, do this. And Charlie did 1 hand. He said, now say hi. And Charlie screamed it. He said, hi. And I just busted out crying. So I was walking down the hall, and the director of AFT, who now my boss, said, are you okay? And I said, yeah, he just told me hi for the first time. So that's probably the best memory I've got. It was pretty amazing. But I'm going to leave it there for now. Thank you for everything and learning with us. Don't forget to buy your blue lights. Go to Home Depot. They benefit Autism Speaks there. Get one for your porch light. Ours is on year-round. We're looking real forward to lighting up Springfield this year. I hope you'll join us. Thanks again. Have a great day.